in last year, just an essay allegations against Sean Combs were mounting and growing number of several lawsuits. Bam. All right, it's from an hour ago. Cassie Ventura has finally completed her testimony and left the witness stand after spending 4 consecutive days in her final trimester of pregnancy, testifying against her former boyfriend, Sean Combs. After the court took a break, Combs hugged his attorney, Savile, who cross-examined Ventura for hours yesterday and today, and the two stood and chatted for a while in relatively empty courtroom. The prosecution has called their next witness after Cassie Ventura, Special Agent Yasin Binda, an investigator in the Department of Homeland Security of Human Transportation Group. It is unclear if there will also be time for Sean Combs' former band member, Don Richard, to testify against him this week, or if Binda's testimony will make up what's left for the day. Oh, it's getting spicy! Oh, we're getting a new character brought into the Diddy sphere. Damn. All right. Where's my freaking right? This is getting mad now. Yes, to Shell. I can't put your message up there because of the words you're using, but I agree. It does seem like the 10 record deal. Could you imagine if you were 19, you signed that deal and you're looking back now going, dick. 10 like if you've got 12 songs on an album and you're going to plan on doing an album a year, you've got to write a song, record a song a month for 10 every month for the next 10 years. I mean, I'm sure some people can do it, but contractually obligated creativity can be a lot different from, having the freedom to do what you're doing. And, Robbie Williams is a prime example of this, because he ended up separating from his songwriter that he wrote all his bangers with, then got this insane deal with Sony, and then went off the rails. It was crazy. And he was trapped in it. It's nuts. Anyway. Yeah, there you go, Rachel. That's an interesting one too. Yep. Because I mean, this is if they're trying to say that this is just what Diddy was into, right? And did she not acknowledge that at the start of the relationship? I just need to reiterate, as a woman of this world, it's all right for you to change your mind later. Okay? Just to be clear. You're allowed to remove that consent. Freaking nuts. Anyway, Homeland Security agent Yasin Binda is describing photographs of a large Ziploc bag. Oh, here we go. Filled with Johnson's & Johnson's baby oil. Lubricant. It's not a lubricant. Okay? There's going to be a lot of people, right, who are taking this as an educational lesson, right? And are going to have, I just want to say, men who have been under rocks, okay, don't put anything oil-based onto, the well-known male ways of having safe, if you know what I'm saying, because they'll just melt. It's also real flammable. I know I keep going on about this, but I know it's somewhere in Las Vegas there is like a birthday stripper buried in the desert because she burst into flames. You can't tell me. You can't. They're next to candles. They're next to candles in that. And some of these Vegas places, there's those indoor fireworks and pyrotechnics in that. Mate, it is so flammable. It is scary. It's scary. So yeah, it is not. It is used to absorb into the skin. Okay? So yeah, lubricant's the opposite of that. Evidence taken during a raid on Sean Combs' hotel room around the time of his arrest last year. Agents also recovered an external hard drive. So here's the thing. I think the FBI tested the baby oil and found out there was nothing in the baby oil, right? So I imagine this whole room is like a big oiled up human slip and slide at this point, if there's nothing in it. But then, God, it's just so fishy. Special Agent Yasin Bindy is describing Sean Combs' multi-room hotel suite at the time she helped raid it last year. There was blue mood lighting in one corner of the room in the bathroom. agents found 5 additional bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Okay. That had been stored in a bathtub. They found a Louis Vuitton bag with a bottle of medication prescribed to Frank Black. And in separate pill bottles, K, MD, that one there. And in the nightstand by the bed, there was 2 additional bottles of lubricant. What? Like, if one of my mates passes away and I've got to empty their house out, and I find more than 2 bottles of lubricant, right? Like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I am done. I'll delete your search history like a good friend, so your wife doesn't find any of the mad stuff you've been Googling, and that's it. But more than 2 bottles, and that is dodgy. More photographs. And don't get me wrong, if they were all in a garage and he'd clearly bulk bought them and he was taking one at a time, that's different. Okay? He's got them all spaced about. Like, how crucial is your lube emergency that there needs to be one at every possible station? Do you know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ. Okay, with less than half an hour until the trial is suspended for break for the week, the prosecution has called their witness, Don Richard, a former member of the band Dana Kane, which rose from promise after starring in Sean Combs' TV show, Making the Band. Richard's testimony has been anticipated since it was announced in the court yesterday because she has used Sean Combs and alleged he abused her on the show. He also said he also witnessed him attacking Cassie Ventura and others. In a long checkered blazer, Richard raised her right hand before taking the stand. All right. Dawn Richards, who performed in 2 bands managed by Sean Combs, testified that she saw him attack his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura in 2019. Again, not racketeering, not transportation. He came downstairs screaming, belligerent, asking where his food was. And maybe they're trying to showcase a pattern of behavior that would create the reason for the control that he had over these women that goes beyond the business. It has to be, right? They have to be. Yeah. Oh God, I really hope they are. I really hope this isn't it. Because if it is, where all those hard drives, he came downstairs screaming, and she outlined the same alleged assault in the lawsuit she filed in September, accusing Combs of physically and sexually abusing her, among other people. Combs has denied the allegations. Dawn Richards testified that she was visiting Sean Combs in a Los Angeles home to record music and had joined Cassie Ventura in the kitchen when Combs attacked. He came downstairs angry and was saying, "Where the F was his eggs? Where the F was his eggs?" And he was telling Cassie she never gets anything right. And where the F was his food? Damn. That is the sort of thing that if you've been on like an MDMA binge for 30 years and you have periodic hours where you're not on it, screaming where the F are your eggs doesn't seem like doesn't seem that out there. Mad. Richard told the jury, and he came over to the skillet. And he came over to the skillet with the eggs in it, and he tried to hit her over the head, and she fell to the ground. Like, the guy needs to be in jail. See if we hear all of this, and then none of this attributes to his actual charges, and he walks free. We're going to know all this. Like, we can't unhear this. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, God. Yeah, it has to. It has to be showing patterns of coercion, right? Coercion and control, because then they would allow that as an argument to be built. Otherwise, yeah. And again, if anyone who's watching this is actually trained in law, I don't know what I'm talking about and don't claim to be intelligent. So if I've got it wrong, Yeah, I can't read properly. Don't be too hard on me. Sean Combs continued to beat Cassie Ventura as she was on the floor, Dawn Richard testified, then proceeded to take his arm around her neck and dragged her by the hair up the stairs. Richards said that the following day, Combs invited her and her bandmate, Kalina Harper, who also saw the alleged attack, to record music in his studio. Richard testified Combs told the two women that the violence they had witnessed was passion. All right. Okay. So let me just paint you a world where this isn't a courtroom discussion, right? It's an advert for a new vodka, right? Called Passion, where in the advert, it's just a guy beating a woman. And at the end, it's Le Passion, right? No one's buying that. No one's buying that. No one is buying that vodka. The violence they had witnessed was passion. Like how, like, that's a trained professional that said that, right? That's not like, oh, we're talking to Mad Bill, the homeless man outside the courtroom. Violence they had witnessed was passion. Wow. All right. Sure. Oh, is that us? Oh, God damn it. All right. We're up to date. We're up to date, people. 32 minutes ago. Damn. So big shout out to Cassie and Cassie's baby, first of all. Right. The most surprising thing that has come from this so far is the fact that she is still not giving birth. So freaking awesome. I'm kind of blown away at what I just read about the passion, right? The violence that you witness. So they're acknowledging the violence, right? They're not saying, oh yeah, nah, listen, he just gets a bit jumpy, right? And sometimes, he'll get startled and throw a backhander up. You know what I mean? It's none of that. It's, hey, listen, those violent outbursts where you ended up in hospital. Oh, intercity updates. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you very much. 1 second. Ron, you missed where the defense keep trying to stick. Of course, Ron missed that. Of course, Ron missed it. Ron is a nightmare when it comes to this stuff. I tell you what, Ron's come into this incredibly triggered from my show beforehand, where Ron's found out some things about his country and what women are going through and what kids are going through, and it's left me shook. I'm not going to lie. All right. Oh, no one can see this. Diddy trial, May 16th, Sean Combs trial, Keith Ventura on 10 million hotel sales. Okay. No, hang on. Is this the right one? Nope. Yeah, I get a bit confused with this guy's where he's posting stuff. So I'll keep looking for it. But how, like, where are you guys all at with this side chat? It's not side chat anymore, man. It's just chat. Like, I need to really phase out the side. Like, I really do. Like, somebody pulled me up about it a couple of weeks ago. Like, are you talking about the chat, or is there another chat, the side chat? And I'm like, oh no, that's an ick. Is what that is. That's a self ick. Do you know what I mean? Court is done for the day, Ron. All right, thank you, Stacey. Now, obviously, we'll be picking back up with the Diddy live coverage. You missed all day yesterday. Oh yeah, we can go back to yesterday's actually. If I can find the right freaking page. Oh no, we can't go back to yesterday's. Oh, I can't. If I had the link, I could go back to it. But tomorrow afternoon. Oh, you're waiting in Discord. Sugar, I forgot about the Discord. Stacy, and I imagine Uber will be there too. Maybe it's just Stacy. There we go. Yo, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Right. So, what do you think? Just looking at the Cassie cross-examination and all of that, how are you feeling about it now that it's come to an
Well,
end?
I think the defense really blew their defense. They have no defense. They literally regurgitated texts all day yesterday, all day today, and it led nowhere. And they were bouncing around from one thing to another. And a lot of the texts that they read off were from the beginning of the relationship where everything
Right.
is happy.
Correct.
You know, we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, they did the same thing again today. And they really, it seems like they're just trying to shame her. And they really had nothing to, like, essentially their job was to try to poke holes in her story. They didn't do that. They just wanted to read text over and over.
Yeah.
And anything she answered, it was exactly in line with her original testimony. So the defense really failed him. I mean, what a waste of money they are. On top of that, they tried sneaking in evidence last minute. You know, of course, the prosecutors, tried to what's the word I'm looking for, Ron? Object. Hello.
Object. Yeah, there we go.
They tried to object whenever they noticed it. But they were being very sneaky. They also, were heavily warned by the judge, if you do not wrap this up in time, I will cut you off because you are meandering. Essentially, the judge was telling them, you're meandering, you're wasting time, you're really not doing anything productive. So if you're not going to be productive, then let's wrap this up and move it along. Interestingly, the redirect from the U.S. attorney, they basically hit on all the points that need to be hit on for the jurors to remember, the main focal points about the relationship and how, yes, it was happy in the beginning, but then it made a huge left turn, shortly after. Then after they were I think that was just a drop in the bucket because the special agent, that raided the room when Diddy was arrested, talked about finding the $9,000 cash, the MDMA, and all the other substances that were in the room. And, that I'm not sure if I can say on YouTube.
Probably not.
But they mentioned the baby oil. And I don't think it's up to Homeland Security to discuss what may have been found in the baby oil. I think that's up to a chemical scientist that the prosecutors may have hired to run labs to see what was in that. Because if you pay attention, the prosecutors have they have not let go of the baby oil subject, and there's got to be a reason for it. I think we're going to see, some kind of doctor that ran test results to see what was in it, if anything. This is all speculation. And I think it's going to be up to that doctor to be on the stand to talk about what was found in it, not the Homeland Security agent.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're really out of the water yet with this whole baby oil gate.
Do you think they're just trying to? Do you think they're trying to lay out the depravity, this all-consuming factor these freak-offs had in Diddy's lifestyle by showcasing the weirdness of the amount of lube that has been found around his properties?
Yeah, I think, it was really funny to see that he had all the typical supplies for another freak off the day he got arrested. It just goes to show that this man didn't stop. It was beyond Cassie.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a Cassie situation. This was a Diddy situation through years, before and after her.
100%. And I swear they have to be cooking, Stacey. Like this has to be the first block.
It's going somewhere.
Yeah, it has to. Otherwise, what the hell have we just listened to?
Well, here's the thing, Ron. they already have proof of trafficking just from Cassie's testimony. So, that's number one, and that's a 15-year sentence, I believe. So we already got that. Excuse me. We already have that secured pretty much, let alone the other witnesses that are going to come on and testify to what their experiences were, what they witnessed, and any witnesses that are essentially, people that corroborated with him to help him get away with certain things. And that's going to be part of the RICO. So we already know that there's going to be 15 years at least that they got him on for sure at this point in the first week. But well, I don't foresee him. I think he's going to be in jail for the rest of his days.
Yeah, well, listen, after hearing what we've heard, and we know that it's only going to amp up now. I think we all were in fair agreement that things have been slow paced because Cassie's ready to pop, and Monday's going to be an interesting one. It really is. We've got Pamela up in the waiting room too. I'm going to pull Pamela in. How you doing, Pam?
Yeah.
We'll give Pam a minute, Stacey. You can crack on with what your next point was.
No, I was going to say Dawn Richards, she immediately, within only a half an hour of being on the stand, because they ran out of time today, she already corroborated what she experienced and saw Cassie go through. And I'm so ready to hear everything else that she has to share, because I'm sure, she was around a lot, and she had her own personal experiences with Diddy, let alone what she witnessed Cassie go through. So that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. And there's talk about bringing parts of, what was his first wife's name that wrote the diary that got Kim Porter?
Kim Porter.
Yeah, Kim.
Yeah.
They're talking about excerpts from her alleged diary possibly being used. I don't know if that's just all hearsay. I'd heard people reporting.
It's floating around.
Yeah, I'd heard people reporting as well that the FBI had tested the baby oil and all of this, and there was no substances in it. So that's what your point.
So Cassie said on her testimony that she didn't think that there was any drugs in it. Now, here's what I have been saying.
Okay.
Well, when Cassie was being lubricated with this stuff, to say the least, she was on drugs. How would she know if there were drugs in it? Because she was already under the influence of drugs.
Right.
So for all she knew, there was, and she just couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah. Plus, as well, I mean, again, if you take too many paracetamol, you're not coming back from that. When we talk about a lot of these substances, dosage is key. So having laced bottles of oil that people are just spraying about the place willy-nilly, unless it's but here's the thing as well, unless you're a weird R-wordy sort of sociopath, psycho, you're probably not going to know about those narcotics. If you're a recreational user, you'll know about all the recreational ones. If you're a bit of a RE some bitch, you're going to know about all the other ones. Do you know what I mean? And then there's medical chemicals as well. There's a whole bunch of stuff. The horse crank. See, here's the thing. Can you not proper OD from that stuff? I don't know.
It's amazing. One of the statements that I think Cassie made to Diddy in one of the texts that they were reading is, we're lucky to be alive. And she's freaking right. They did so much stuff that, they are lucky to be alive. Granted, Diddy had an OD, that apparently flew under the radar. I don't recall it ever being publicized. But they did so much and mixed so many different substances together. They are very lucky. But it's funny how the defense team tried to weaponize that against Cassie, but yet, Diddy was the one pushing her to do it.
That was just his passion.
He was the one supplying it.
Remember, that was just his passion, Stacey. Okay. Don't misinterpret his violence and his coercion and his substance abusing behavior as anything other than passion. Okay. It's his passion. All right, we all learned that today. Passion.
If that's passion, I don't want it.
Mr. God. Like, that's the banger of the week, just so you know. Like, that for me, out of the